So kind of picking up where I left off in the last video, talking about how there's two different mindsets. And I'll get into more of where this comes from in another video and give you some background on that. But basically the idea is that there are two mindsets. And this just isn't in policing, but in life in general, that basically, and the way I kind of drill it down and simplify it is that you either see people as people who have hopes, needs, objectives, challenges, fears, dreams, or see people as problems, where more as an object, just kind of something out there. So this idea of these two mindsets, and then kind of as police officers, this should be something, this part that I'm going to get into now, I hope kind of resonates or is that should make sense to us, especially if you've been to any type of interview, interrogation training, a lot of officer safety training on body language. We know that a person's true intentions or the truth of kind of what they're thinking, I've heard it said, like it leaks out of them. It leaks out of us. And so what's true of people that, we're questioning, interrogating, interviewing, what's true of them and their micro expressions and their body language and their way of thinking is also true of us, because of that idea is that they are people just like we are people. And so the same thing, we are subject to the exact same thing that we've learned about through body language and micro expressions in a lot of these interviewing and interrogation classes that we go through. But basically the idea is this, is that people can sense how you feel about them, and they respond more to that sense than anything that you say or do. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit more here, is this idea of mindset. It leaks out in our interaction with somebody, that if I show up on scene and my mindset is that this is a problem, I'm not seeing these people as people, I'm just seeing as a problem or an object, then that mindset, that way I'm feeling about them, it leaks out in ways that they pick up, that they perceive. And they respond to that, not the words that I'm saying. And something that I discovered this kind of within myself, when COVID happened, we started doing a lot of things over the phone. Instead of going out to, talk to somebody, we would call them on the phone. Everything that could be done over the phone was done over the phone. And one of my big pet peeves in police work are the calls that I think are not law enforcement issues. That they are stupid, waste of time. They're civil issues, they're people problems, they're not law enforcement issues, so leave us out of it. And that was my general thing. And it just used to I would just get angered. I would just get tensed when I would get the call and I would look on my computer screen and it was some civil or just a kind of an interpersonal problem that they wanted the police to be involved in. So like I said, we started handling a lot of these over the phone, and so the people couldn't see me, and I would just put my phone on speaker, turn on my body camera, and talk to them. And of course, it's being recorded, and so I was very careful to sound professional, not tell them that I think them, they and their issue is a waste of time and don't bother the police with it. Didn't do that at all. That's how I felt inside. But if you were to just listen to the words that I said, you wouldn't get that feeling. But my mindset, even over the phone, was leaking out. And what I noticed is that almost all of these conversations would end, even if the person, they understood where I was coming from, they accepted my answers and explanations. Many of them would say, "I'm sorry for wasting your time." And I would say, "Oh, it's no waste of time. We appreciate the call. That's what we're here for." Not meaning it, not meaning one word of it, but saying that because, I'm a professional, nice police officer, and has to sound good on body camera, and I want them to think that I care, but I really didn't. But I started noticing this, is that many of these calls would end with them saying, "I'm sorry for wasting your time." And as I started learning more about these two mindsets and learning the things that I'm going to be talking about on this channel, I started to realize that they, even through a phone conversation, that they were seeing none of my body language, just through my voice. Even when I was consciously trying to control the tone of my voice to sound like I cared, they were picking up on the fact that I didn't care and that I considered them and their issue a waste of time. So through my experience, I was basically proving this to myself, this idea that people have this sense of how you feel towards them, and they respond and react to that, not to the words that you say. Even when they're nice words and you're trying to be overly professional and kind and nice and consciously aware of how and what you're saying, this underlying mindset or how I felt towards them was coming out even through a phone conversation, and they were responding. They were feeling that and responding to that I felt that they were just a waste of my time. Now, so how does that, if I show up on scene and all that you're getting from me, even when I'm saying, the right things, but you're feeling, I think you're a problem and I'm here to solve you, and I'm just gonna deal with you as a problem, the response we're gonna get to that, or that we do get from that, often creates more problems. And then it escalates rather than de-escalates. Now, I hate this de-escalation idea that's going around the country. I get where people are coming from, but I'll tell you the thing that's wrong with 99% of the talk on de-escalation and even the de-escalation training that's out there is it's all skill-based. It's a skill that they're trying to teach police officers to use, a verbal skill or a verbal pattern to use that they believe will de-escalate a situation. And the reason that doesn't work is because it doesn't address mindset. And that's why 99% of the de-escalation training out there essentially is a failure, or it's not going to be very effective because it does not address mindset. And that's when I talk about it being a skill-based, that the de-escalation training and kind of the whole de-escalation idea is that to kind of go through this verbal pattern of guiding the conversation, guiding the call, which I completely agree with. But like I said, if you fail to address mindset, then the whole thing is kind of destined to fail, because I can go into that call and I can go through that de-escalation pattern from either mindset. I can either see them as a person and their needs, objectives, and challenges, hopes, fears, that kind of thing, or I can see them as a problem, as an object, something to be manipulated, fixed, and just dealt with. And I can go through that pattern either way, either one. And I can make it sound the same. And so on body camera, or if you're an observer, kind of watching it in court or something like that, they'll say, yep, the officer went through the de-escalation pattern, did everything that he could. But the fact of the matter is, inside, if I don't care about, they're a waste of my time, I'm just there to deal with them as a problem, and I say those things, they're not reacting and responding to what I'm saying. They're reacting and responding to what I'm feeling towards them, what they're perceiving, that feeling that they're getting from me. And even though I say all the right words, my mindset is not in line with it, and that's what they pick up on, and that's what they respond to. And so that's why mindset is so important in this idea of policing, and why I believe that mindset is the answer to this whole controversial topic of policing in America, and why I believe that the whole narrative is off course, and it's true for a number of reasons. But the biggest thing about it is because it's not addressing the mindset of, and how do we help police officers have a mindset of seeing people as people and not as problems to be solved. And again, I'll do a specific video on this. When you kind of give police officers this idea of seeing others as people, they think, oh, this is some hundred thug, new age, liberal crap that from people that don't understand what it's like to be out on the streets. That's not true at all. And I'm going to do another video to discuss that and why that's not true, why it actually makes us safer and more effective at enforcing the law and protecting ourselves and others when we do see people as people. And this isn't some hundred thug. Believe me, that's not who I am. Of this soft on crime, or being soft on people and not holding them accountable for what they actually do. What I'm all about is doing that in the most effective way possible, that is the safest way possible for everyone involved. And that's why I believe this mindset is the answer to what all reasonable people in America want from their police officers. So if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you get notified when new videos come out. We're going to go through this whole thing. In the next video, we're going to talk about kind of where this comes from and where you can go to if you want to do more of a deep dive into it, where you can get a lot more information kind of from the people where I'm getting it from. So I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. We have a lot to talk about. And like I said, I believe this is the solution to the question of policing in America.